Hello, it's Jim Hutchens for the Jerusalem Connection Spot Report for this week. Next Sunday, we'll begin a whole series of meetings across the country and in Israel that are basically, and I'll be very frank about this, they're basically anti-Semitic. They'll be couched in terms of being anti-Israel or anti-Zionist, but these are only masks for the anti-Semitism that they represent. On February 26th, starting next Sunday, there will be Israel Apartheid Week that will begin on several secular campuses all across the country. Our Israel Fellows program is addressing that, seeking to confront that. You can see that on our website, what we're doing to combat that. But it's an attempt to say that Israel is an apartheid state. That's pretty hard to do, I should say. Especially when they're Palestinians who are citizens of Israel. They serve in the Knesset, and they likewise serve on the Supreme Court. So that's really a false charge. On March 3rd, there will be a two-day conference in Harvard, at Harvard University, on the one-state solution. And that's an attempt to delegitimize the very existence of the State of Israel. The one-state solution is that Palestine would replace Israel as we know it. Bethlehem Bible College in Israel and the West Bank, March 5 through 9, will be hosting the Christ at the Checkpoint Conference. And this will be an attempt to prove or show that Palestinians live under brutal Israeli occupation. That's pretty hard to establish, really. But once again, these are veiled attempts to practice and demonstrate what is really a contemporary version of anti-Semitism. At the same time, in all these presentations, there will be a focus on anti-Zionism, but there will be a focus likewise on anti-Christian Zionism. Christian Zionist. What is Christian Zionist? A Christian Zionist, we say, is one who is supports the modern state of Israel as a partial fulfillment of God's covenant promise to establish a homeland for the Jewish people. I say partial because it will be fulfilled ultimately only when Jesus comes and establishes his kingdom. But this is going on today, and there are many Christian Zionists, and they're increasingly under fire, and they will be under fire in all these meetings that I just spoke to you about. What do Christian Zionists represent? Number one, we represent confirming all the covenant promises that God has made to the Israel and the Jewish people, that these are as valid today as when they were given. Secondly, we champion Aliyah, the return of Jews to Israel as their homeland. During the 90s, we sponsored some 80,000 Jews to come out of the former Soviet Union to Israel. Right now we're focusing more on the Anusim, Hispanic Jews in Mexico, Latin America, South America, who would like to come back to Israel, and we help them as we can. We also are involved in confronting anti-Semitism, just as we're doing right here, and removing the veil, the mask, from what is really an attempt to delegitimize and demonize the Jewish people and Israel. We are countering replacement theology, supersessionism, the heretical notion that Jews have been replaced by Christians in the covenant promises of God. This has been prevalent through the church throughout the centuries, and there's an increased acceptance of today, sadly and unfortunately, among many leftist evangelicals. We're involved in contending for God's heart for Israel and the Jewish people. God says, I will never stop doing them good, and I will most assuredly establish them in this land with all my heart and soul. That's where the heart and soul of God is, and we want to be in sync with that. We're involved in comforting the Jewish people. We've got a number of humanitarian efforts that we are involved in the Jerusalem Connection. We invite your attention to that. And then finally, we're involved in connecting with our Hebrew roots to our Christian faith. The Bible came from Jews. Salvation's from the Jews. Jesus was a Jew. All these feasts and festivals of Judaism are part of the heritage of Christianity, and we want to acknowledge them and support that. But I must tell you that in the days ahead, and increasingly so, we're going to be coming under attention and attempt to delegitimize and demonize us as well. As a matter of fact, Jesus said this, you'll be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. You'll be hated by all nations because of me. And then he says, but he who stands firm to the end will be saved. This is in the Olivet Discourse in Matthew chapter 24. He who stands firm to the end will be saved. I'm bold to believe that the Christian Zionists will be among those who stand firm to the end. How about you? Until next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Shalom Aleichem.